Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at property address 14646 Southwest 165th Avenue here in Tigard. We are located at the back of the house where the driveway and garage is at. So right in your driveway here, you've got a big steel plate cover. I got it flipped upside down right there, but that's what's over top the cleanout. Going into a 3-inch ABS cleanout, we're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. I've just put a bunch of water down the line here. I'm going to introduce some more here in just a moment. To get down line a little ways. Off we go. We've gone past a couple tie-ins so far, so I think this may actually be a shared line. Yeah, the bottom of the pipe there has got the appearance of a little bit of grease buildup in it. Nothing crazy. Just one of those signs that shows me that you've got more than one house tied in here. And when you have attached units like you have here, it is normal to have that kind of a setup. Have shared lines. So we just transitioned there to 3034 PVC, 4-inch diameter. And we should be seeing the main lateral connection here pretty soon. Now my guess is, based on the tie-ins I see there, you might be tied in with the home to the left and right. One of those tie-ins may very well be like a test Y connection. Anyhow, this is the main right here, looks like anyway. We're going to try and go locate that really quick here while the pipe drains off. Now, one of the things to always look into when you have this kind of arrangement is, in the event a repair is ever necessary, how is responsibility divvied up? For instance, and this is, even for new construction, this is pretty minor stuff right here. You do have a small belly at the very end of the line. I would verify with the builder that they are indeed shared. Based on kind of the grease streaks I see at the base of the flow line, looks like you're tied in with at least one other home, possibly more. So HOA may deal with that in the event a repair is ever needed or something of that nature. It's just worth looking into if it ever is needed. The belly we have right here, for instance, if this were anything but brand new construction, I would hardly even be talking about this belly. It's so small. It's about 1 foot in length. It runs from about 55 feet to 56 feet. It's very, very short. Not to mention, it's also about the last foot of the sewer line. So it's already a very insignificant belly to begin with. Even if this were right up next to the home, these are things I don't recommend repairs typically on. I mentioned them a little bit more in new construction because it is brand new. But for instance, I don't even consider repairs on the average home that's a lived-in used house until there's at least 1 inch of standing water for a minimum of 5 feet. So on stuff like this, what I usually recommend is maybe rescoping just before the warranty is up to make sure no progression has taken place. But from my understanding, a lot of these houses have been in here for at least a year or more, so these lines have been in the ground for a long time. Most settling occurs almost immediately after a line is buried, within the first few days. So very rarely do you see progression of bellies unless the pipe joints are wide open to the ground, something that's allowing for hydro erosion, which I don't see any signs of that here at all. All right, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out back here behind the house. And so what the line does is it veers over into the, I think how to describe this. Typically speaking, I describe everything as if you're facing the front door of the house from the street. So we're at the back of the house right now. So the line shoots to the right. It goes to the into the driveway of this end unit. In fact, it crosses the entire width of it. Once it gets on the other side of that driveway, pops out the right side of that driveway. Again, that's as you face the front doors of these. The line then turns and then shoots out into the road. And if you go walk over to where your neighbor's driveway is and look just to the side of it, off to the right side or the left side, if you're back here from that orientation, you'll see an S stamped in the concrete. That S stands for sewer. That's right where the sewer line crosses into the street. You'll also notice that some of the driveways or curb areas will have a D on them. That stands for drain or for your storm system. So that's a little bit closer in. Anyway, you can see that kind of tan brownish stuff in the flow line. That's a little bit of grease buildup. Very minor. It's just one of those signs, being that this home has not been lived in yet. It shows you that the Y connections we're going through here, they're not just merely like a test tee or an extra clean out access. They are tie-ins for a neighboring line to come in. And for attached homes, which are generally considered like a condominium type setup, that is a normal thing to have. But it's worth finding out from the HOA how responsibilities are divvied up in the event a repair is ever needed. You've got a tie-in right here. In fact, yeah, you've got more than one home tied in here, because I'm doing everything from the outside right now. So that's the neighbor's line coming in there. We just went past. And then the water that's coming into the line right now is going to be coming from this Y connection, which is going to be the neighbor to the left of your home as you face the front door from the street. So they may have every single house in here tied together. It's not uncommon to have this. They'll daisy chain them together and then run them off to the street. You can see right where the neighbor's line comes in here. I'll show you. Once I pull the camera out here in a second, we're going to run backwards onto the garage floor for just a moment. But anyway, everything from the clean out access to the main lateral is all in good shape. Especially being a shared sewer line, that belly is nothing I would ever try and make anyone worry about. It's so tiny. It is. You'd have to abuse this thing so hard, it's not even funny for that to ever contribute to a blockage. But especially being that it's shared, it's even less concerning. No one should be recommending a fix on something that small. I would be more concerned about it had I known that line just went in yesterday, being that it hadn't sat in the ground for very long. I know I just talked to the neighbor here. He's been here for about a year, so I know these lines have been in the ground a while. So what I'd normally have you look for at about the 1 year mark is highly unlikely to ever see any progression on something that's been in the ground for this long. All right, and this is where the line's starting to go vertical here at the back wall of the garage. That's going to be the end of it there. We've just covered everything under the surface. Nice looking sewer line. Good flow end to end. All the pipe is clean. No construction debris in the pipes. Nice to see that. And all you've got here to even nitpick is a world's tiniest belly there at the end of the line. Alright, sewer line is functioning properly out this time. You could again, I will still recommend, just because there is some level of defect there from a hyper-technical standpoint, there is a rescope at the 1 year mark. Or just before that, if you have a 1 year warranty that covers the sewer line, generally recommend you do the rescope about 10 months. Just let everything sit for a while. But again, by that point, you're looking at a line that's been in the ground for about 2 years. So, anyway. So there's the street. This is the unit to the right of you, and then you have the unit over here with the pickup truck. I just talked to him. At the very least, that guy is tied in there, as well as this neighboring line. So line comes out here, it shoots under this driveway to the right of your home, shoots all the way underneath the full width of it, and then gets a couple feet outside that right side edge of the driveway there, and then shoots off into the road. But you can see where the neighbor's clean out is here. That's right where their YN comes in. And then the neighbor's line comes into yours pretty quickly after dropping in. And my guess is they probably have every unit on this tied together, but they sometimes divvy them up every 2-3 units. But I think this is the complete row here. Yeah, it's just these three. So you're just going to have these three lines most likely connected together. I doubt the other units up above you are connected in. Anyhow, sewer line is functioning properly at this time. Nice looking line there. Even with that little belly in it, that's very, very minor stuff. I get pretty nitpicky on new construction. I don't want to nitpick anyone that hard for a 1 foot long belly with barely a 1/4 inch of water in it. Very minor stuff.